Over the years, we've brought you all kinds of stories about con men. They promise prizes, fast money, a love connection, anything to get your hard-earned cash. But tonight, a con man whose promise is to save you from other con men. It's a devious new twist that's on the rise, and you're about to get an inside look at how it works from never-before-heard FBI tapes. Here's Chief Consumer Correspondent Lee Thompson.
Your call is being processed. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Hello.
You get a call from Canada saying you've won a huge prize.
You're going to be a millionaire by the 22nd. You will have $1 million.
That would get anyone's adrenaline flowing. You are going to be rich. But then you get another call, this time from someone who says he's the tax man.
Okay, my name's Special Agent Albert Diamond, sir, Internal Revenue Service, Washington, D.C., sir. I have the check in front of me, and you have to pay 25% taxes.
Millions of people are getting calls like these, but they are not what they seem to be. Julia, an 87-year-old woman who is known among local church circles for her collection of 2,000 angel figurines, started getting calls like that a few years ago.
Hello.
Hi, Julia.
Hi.
Just like so many people, she'd entered foreign lotteries and sweepstakes through the mail. Then came that exciting phone call, a stranger telling her she'd won $1 million jackpot.
I said, well, I guess I'm just being a lucky person to win that much.
Next, she got that tax call. She needed to pay taxes and other fees on her prize before she could get her $1 million. So she did what she was told. She sent a $1,600 check. That same week, they wanted more, $3,880. The next month, a whopping $19,000. In a 6-month period, Julia dutifully paid an incredible $80,000 in taxes and fees for prize money she'd yet to see. But just as she started to get really worried she'd never see her jackpot, she got a call from someone who said he was a Canadian cop named Officer McDermott.
I'm an undercover in the police force.
He told her she had been ripped off in a widespread scam. It's called the Canadian Lottery Scam because the con men operate from Canada where they can hide behind the border. The Canadian cop said he was going to help her. He was going to arrest the crooks and retrieve her money.
That's the most important thing. Never mind we're going to put them in jail. We want to get your money back.
To her, a believer in angels and miracles, Officer McDermott sounded like a living guardian angel sent to get her out of this mess.
Well, you're working for God, and God maybe He's working for you, Julie.
As an elderly woman living alone, she welcomed his concern, and she was relieved to learn he was following the Montreal con men who scammed her.
We have a truck outside their building listening to what they're doing, and we're recording everything.
Day in and day out, Officer McDermott called, and Julia came to trust him. She even confided she'd caved in and paid another $10,000 to these supposed tax collectors. Still, he was there for her.
Don't get yourself depressed. Don't worry. We're going to get to the bottom of it, and it's going to come to an end.
Okay.
Julia told him where she sent the check, to an address on this street outside Montreal. Sure enough, soon after, she got her $10,000 check back in the mail.
Julie, I promised you, when you told me you sent the $10,000, I told you, Julie, why did you do that? So when you told me that, the only thing I was able to do is intercept that check and get it back to you.
The officer became her new best friend. He called with well wishes.
Today's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And warnings that Julia should never deal with strangers who called her on the phone.
All I'm saying to you, and I've told you before, do not send money to these people, to any of them, because they're a bunch of crooks.
But then she got a nasty call from the tax man asking for additional tax payments or else a team of agents would come and seize her property.
If you have furniture, they'll seize it. If you have a bank account, they'll seize it. Whatever you have, they'll seize.
You mean you're going to leave me just with a nightgown on, everything I own? You're going to seize for? Is that what you mean? Everything I have?
Yes, madam.
You're going to leave me nude or what?
Your dressing gown we don't need. You can keep it, but we'll take the rest.
Julia was rattled, but when Officer McDermott called, he quickly eased her mind.
What's wrong?
No, nothing. I just had a crazy call.
Don't worry about it, Julie. Don't be depressed.
Officer McDermott said Julia shouldn't worry because he had a plan. He wanted to set up a sting to catch the crooks receiving victims' money, and he wanted Julia's money to do it.
To catch them red-handed with the money in their hand is that they can't deny it.
So she agreed to give him $7,000. But it turns out the man who befriended Julia, the well-wishing cop, was no cop at all. He was a first-class con man named Angelo Impellizzari. But the best part of all, while he thought he was playing Julia, the gullible old lady, she was playing him all along. Julia's daughter had suspected something was wrong and called the FBI, which now believes this fake cop was part of a gang of con men who pulled the original Canadian lottery scam on Julia. After that, he hatched a scheme to get more money from Julia for himself. But by this time, the FBI was recording him as he pretended to be Officer McDermott.
I'm an undercover in the police force.
Remember that $10,000 check he got back for Julia?
The only thing I was able to do is intercept that check and get it back to you.
He was able to pull that off by double-crossing his fellow con men by giving an anonymous tip to the real cops who actually intercepted and mailed Julia's money back.
Well, I promised you that we'd get back your $10,000. I got it back for you.
Yes, you did, yeah.
Not only was he a conniving entrepreneur, apparently he was a pretty good actor. He was the good cop and the threatening IRS agent.
Your dressing gown we don't need. You can keep it, but we'll take the rest.
Just like in a spousal abuse, he beats her down. Now he's the one as the hero to pick her back up.
The real hero of this story is FBI agent Julie Halferty. She's worked on phone fraud task forces for years. She responded to the call from Julia's daughter, taped all you heard, and set a trap.
Why do you trust me, Julie?
We're just salivating at the chance of being able to arrest him.
The chance comes when Impellizzari, still pretending to be a cop, plans to visit Phoenix to get $10,000 from Julia for his so-called sting.
I'm going to be glad to at least arrest these people and get it all over with so they stop bothering you and get you back your money.
Impellizzari watches Julia's apartment for days before he finally shows up after midnight. We're watching FBI surveillance tape. Impellizzari is eager to get out of there with the envelope full of cash, but he's not leaving alone.
I thought I was going to drop dead myself, because if the FBI men came in with guns at him like that, 2 guns, well, I would have, and he was just as calm as anything.
Slowly bring your hands down behind your back with your thumbs up, palms
Calm, maybe, but surely shocked, this woman in her 80s who was scammed so badly is able to con him.
I'm amazed at her. She is probably one of the best undercover agents that you can imagine.
Julia and Agent Halferty's work paid off. Impellizzari was convicted of money laundering, went to prison for nearly 2 years, and was ordered to pay Julia $5,000. He never did.
The type of person that does this is really one of the cruelest, most calculated type sociopaths.
And what does Impellizzari say to that? He declined an on-camera interview, but says while he is sorry, if he hadn't taken Julia's money, somebody else would have. There are going to be people who say, how could this very smart, very savvy woman fall for this?
Well, this is it. They know exactly how to change your mind, your thinking, and your brain.
Do you think you'll ever see a penny of that money?
No, I don't think so, no.
It's gone.
It's gone.
To learn more about how not to be scammed, log on to our website. The address is dateline.msnbc.com.